This is one of the best built Hondas that I have owned. Way better than the EG Civics. All right, we're kind of strolling along now. Yeah, this car, I think I've owned the EKs. You know, people call them the EKs. They're actually, I call them the EKs. Everybody knows what I'm talking about, what that means. It's a 96 to 2000 Civic. I had the hatchback, two of them. And this is my second EG. And so that's all the Hondas I own, all Civics. I had an Accord, but this is one of the best built Hondas that I have owned. Way better than the EG Civics. The way that it's put together reminds me of how a Toyota is put together. It's, you know, they kind of go above and beyond the types of, you know, engineering, the way things are put together that is necessary. And so when you start, you know, messing with the car, fiddling with it, taking it apart, you'll see that. You'll see that, ooh, look at, they didn't need to put a bolt here or a screw here, but they did, and this is how they mounted it, and this is really nice, you know? And so you start to kind of see that. I own the EK, and it's not quite the same. It's kind of put together, you know, if you look at this interior, it's really sporty. It's really slim. It's kind of minimal. Everything kind of stays out of your way. It's really nice and clean and classy looking. It doesn't feel like you're in an economy car. It feels different, you know, something in its own class. The EK, you know, and EK guys, don't hate me for saying this, but it's not the same. The EK, it feels like you're sitting in a Corolla. Like the dash is just fat and big and bubbly and rounded. And if you ever sat in like a 1999 Corolla, that's what it feels like. It's just big and bubbly and just feels like plasticky. This car, everything's very slim, very contoured, and you know, it's clean. It's nice. It's a classic. I own an Integra. How could I forget? I own an Integra too. And the Integra is kind of like the EK. It looks like nice like this, but the build quality of the Integra is just like the EK. It's just throw it in there, clips, 2 screws, and call it a day. So that's what it felt like the engineers did. But this car is on a different level. So let's take a look at the car. This is a 1993 Honda Civic hatchback. It's a trim model DX. I bought it just recently. I got it for $5,500. And I think it was a heck of a deal. I mean, the car has everything on it that I probably would have done at some point. So you can see the walk around. This is actually one of my favorite colors. It's called Aztec green. And I think it's one of the best colors you can get for this car. Aztec green is probably my favorite color. And the other one is Captiva blue. This is a DX though, it's not a SI. The difference is the SIs, they're optioned out. Like they have sunroofs, they have power windows, power locks. I believe they have ABS. I know they have different brakes than the other trim models, the EX in the coupe and the SI and the hatchback. The EX and the SI are pretty much the same car with the same options, same engine, except they have, except the SI is the hatchback and the EX only came in the coupe. So this is the DX. Again, this is Aztec green. You can't get this color in, no, sorry. This is Aztec green. What am I talking about? You can get this in the SI model, but good luck with that. I think this is the best color. There's also Captiva blue. Also good luck getting that with an SI. But this is cool. I mean, I love sunroofs, but this doesn't have a sunroof. But it's my favorite color. And one thing you want to do when you get a car is that you have to realize you can't really change the color of your car. You can by wrapping it or respraying it, but it's going to be really expensive. And then you also, you're going to be hard pressed to find somebody to do a good job for you. So yeah, there's a lot of dents on it, but these are all on panels that are easily worked on or replaceable. There's this thing going on, not a big deal at all. There's a little bit of fading. So I think this is like one of the cleanest examples of a Civic hatchback that I've ever seen. You know, I mean, there's really nice ones, but this one, you know, this panel, you could just buy a new fender from the junkyard, paint it, throw it on. Obviously, there's the hood problem. It's just a different color, you know, but that's something that can be easily addressed. So that's easy to deal with, fender damage or repair. That's easy to deal with. But once you're talking about something like you want to change the color of your car, what I'm talking about is this is the stuff you have to deal with that people will notice. So we take a look at underneath the car, all clean, no rust. We have some suspension work. Oddly enough, the person who owned this car before me, they put on Type R, Integra Type R, lower control arms with some Progress CS2 coilovers. So I never seen that before on a stock car where some put Type R arms on it. They already did a brake conversion on it. It has some rotas on it that I'm going to take off and sell because I just want to go with something more, timeless. Something that's not a replica. No offense to anybody who's running replicas, but this is going to be my company car, and so we're not running reps on a company car. There's no knock on Rota. I like Rotas, I really do, but not on my company car. Yeah, for sure I'm going to change out these headlights. Everything's going to go back to stock or very close to it. You know, the headlights got to go, the corners. I never saw the Allure with these amber corners. Don't really like them, never really liked them. Fog lights, got to get changed out. They're not even wired up right. Lips coming off. I don't think I'm running a lip. Never cared for lips. I think they just kind of get in the way and scrape and everything. So lips coming off. I think the car looks slimmer that way. Let's take a look at the interior. Ooh, look at that. So one of the first things that I did when I got the car was I took the steering wheel out. It was loose anyway, and I threw in this Nardi that I've been saving for a while. It's a Nardi Guerra, I believe. I'm not even quite sure. It's a cool steering wheel. The reason why it doesn't have any bolts right there is because these are only for show. There's bolts that bolted onto the hub, and there's bolts that go on here for show. And I tried, when I first got it, I didn't know that, and I tried to stick a bolt all the way through, and it almost cross-threaded it. No good. So very clean interior, look at that. And this is like the only damage I could find on the interior. Other than that, it's beautiful. Of course, it has aftermarket, GSR, Integra seats. They're ripped up a little bit. Those are coming out eventually when I figure out what to do with it or find some nicer seats. But, you know, this is, look at how soft that dash is. It's such in good condition, this car, man. It has 250,000 miles on it. The speedometer doesn't work. All easy fixes. Okay, I put one of my prototype shift knobs on here. It's stainless steel, heavy as heck. Okay, manual windows. Here's the back seat. So at some point this thing got messed with. It had some kind of strut bar going on. Black is beautiful, but it just gets hot as heck here in California, especially in the summertime. Not necessarily the weather here, but if you're sitting in a black interior, you're just baking. You're just baking. And the sun is baking that dash, and eventually, if you don't take care of it, it'll crack it, and the heat is just gonna radiate off it, and you're just gonna sit in an oven. But it looks nice. Look at that. So let's take a look under the hood and see what we're working with. So here's our under the hood shot. And so when you check these cars out, one thing you really want to look at is the radiator support and the frame. This car right here is in amazing condition, meaning I don't even think this thing has been touched. No accidents, no dings, no bumps in the front, and especially in the radiator support, because when that happens, the front end doesn't line up quite right. And when I close the hood again and I show you the gaps, it is nearly perfect. Look at that. Perfect fender gaps, perfect headlight fitment. You know, these are aftermarket, you know, non-OEM stuff, and so you might have a little bit of loose gaps, but look at that fitment. It's perfect. And that's what you really want to look for in these cars, because over time, you know, people ding them up a little bit. This car is from Seattle, I believe. Seattle has no emissions, and for some reason, one of the previous owners, they changed over everything. So now it's California smog legal. Passed with flying colors, legally, legitly. So it's stock. I'm gonna keep it stock. I like it. I don't need that much power. I can get by without a lot of power. It's very practical. Don't have to worry about the police. None of that. So beautiful. Look at that. I'm keeping it like that. For sure, for sure. So yeah, one of the first things I want to do with this car is I just bought rims for it. I want to get those Rotas off. Again, nothing against Rota, but you know, it's my company car. Can't be rocking reps on it. You know, cosmetic things, clean it up. This window doesn't work. Rolls up halfway and it falls off the track and it stops going up. So I got to replace that. I mean, I got to open that up. Make videos on all that stuff. Suspension, I think I want to put new suspension on it. The Progress CS2 is good, but it's not independent height adjustable. So when you lower the car, you compress the shock at the same time, essentially giving yourself a lot less shock travel. And so I want to get something where I can kind of like lower it. I'm probably leaning towards an annex suspension setup. So that's next. I mean, it's a whole lot of things. And of course, I'm gonna use it to develop parts, continue to develop parts under my company. Yeah, it's gonna be a great project. I've been doing this. I do this all the time. It's just that now I decide, you know, I gotta make a video on this, because again, these cars are getting much more hard to find, and people have been so used to paying $3,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for them. But they're not worth that much anymore. They're worth more. They are. This car I got for a good deal at $5,000, and they're just gonna keep going up. I mean, because anytime somebody buys this, what's the first thing they do? They swap it, they roll the fenders, they start doing modifications that are really hard to revert. And so there's not many stock Honda Civics left, and if there are, better scoop them up, you know. And especially the older they are, the harder they are to find stock. everybody fixes them up, and then you cannot undo some of these modifications that people do, or it's like a huge pain in the butt to where the cost of doing it outweighs the value. And in that case, you might as well go search for a stock car instead of paying to revert one back to, something stock, or something, not stock, but something clean. So yeah, these cars are becoming classics now. And from firsthand experience, I talked to a lot of people, and especially these younger guys who are like getting their first car, 16, 17, 18 years old. Their dads or their parents are around 40 or 50, and these are the people who were like kind of like the OGs in the Honda game, the people who were there since the beginning. And so those parents are teaching their kids to appreciate these cars. And what's happening is all these kids are loving these cars, just like we did when we were young high schoolers, and they're scooping them up too. And the scene, I think the scene is about to run the red light. The scene is about to blow up again. It really is. And everybody, this Honda stuff, man, this is ingrained in our culture, American culture. If you talk to a lot of the car heads, everybody knows about Hondas. Most people have owned Hondas and fixed up Hondas, and so this stuff is like ingrained in our culture. And it's probably, next to the Ford Mustang, maybe Camaro, maybe these muscle cars, next to them, probably one of the most defining cars in our car culture. You know what I'm saying? And people used to talk crap about Hondas, like little rice rockets, little motorcycle engines or whatever. That's cool, but regardless of what people say, they know about it. So my point is, and these cars haven't been featured in that many movies. I mean, pick the movie. You have Fast and the Furious. That was probably the biggest movie. But besides that, I mean, there has not been many movies promoting these cars, yet they're so deeply entrenched in our minds and in our culture that they are not leaving anytime soon, or I think ever, to the point where these cars will disappear and they will be unattainable before the car decreases, or disappears from our culture. And so really, that is why you should buy one. Get on it, You won't be able to get these cars for too much longer at these prices. We are already seeing the prices go up. The thing that really holds the prices down is the community itself, because these people, they don't want, I think these people, they don't want the value of these cars to go up for whatever reason, because either they feel some sort of feeling towards somebody selling their car for more value than their car. And so they say, oh, that's not worth 6 G's, that's not worth 7 G's. Well, the market decides. But seeing somebody or hearing somebody talk about these like that is detrimental to our culture, our Honda culture. And so just keep that in mind. You're going to see that a lot. And it's these people, I don't think they're right. I think that they're just not accepting the fact that these cars are becoming classics. All right.